A TikTok spokesperson pushing back on the data, saying over a longer period of time, more support for Israel over pro-Palestinian content actually happens. But TikTok's spokesperson saying there is no algorithm. The messaging fight, obviously, it's just the latest sign of a growing both personal and political battle around the world over how the Israel-Hamas war should be perceived. As this Wall Street Journal headline puts it, the left is tearing itself apart over Israel. The report laying out how the divide for or against Israel's cause versus being for or against what the Palestinians are doing, specifically what Hamas is doing, is leading to a feeling of, quote, disillusionment. Let's talk with the author of that article, Wall Street Journal senior political correspondent Molly Ball. Molly, thank you so much for your time here. Your article notes that the divisions among Democrats have deep roots. I'm listening to some of the videos that I found on social media between progressive Jews who have historically voted Democrat and more conservative Jews. And there's this conversation happening about being united, and at the same time, there's, again, as you mentioned, a very, very deep root. What do we do from here? Where do we go?
Well, what we are seeing really, as you say, is not a new divide, particularly on the left, particularly within the Democratic Party. There has been a division on this issue for many years, but it has really come to the forefront since the October 7th Hamas terrorist attack in Gaza. And as a result, there are a lot of hurt feelings. It's a very emotional issue. You know, a lot of times there are differences of opinion among partisans or ideological gradations to an issue. This really feels different. This really feels like a personal break on the level of identity for a lot of allies of the progressive cause. So across the left, we are seeing, as you mentioned, a lot of progressive Jews who feel personally affected by what's happening, feel really abandoned by those they thought were their allies in the progressive cause. And then on the other side, a lot of younger voters, a lot of voters of color believe that there should be more sympathy for what is happening to the Palestinian people, and have had very harsh words for the president and Democrats in Congress, who have been mostly but not entirely united in their approach and in their backing of Israel in the conflict.
Well, do you believe, I mean, obviously there are some people who say, oh, you know, videos and everything is causing this divide. What we're seeing, the triggering imagery and video, these are already feelings that so many people had. But like you mentioned, among many progressives in the party, they feel betrayed. But then you've got conservative Democrats who are saying, or more moderate Democrats who are saying, you know, we've known this all the time. We've known that anti-Semitism has been a problem. It's just now you all know. So where does the Democratic Party go from here in terms of that messaging? Because you have people who are strictly for peace, even Jewish groups who are calling for a ceasefire and against Netanyahu's government. But you cannot please all of the party all the time.
That's right. And it could be a real problem for President Biden in his reelection. We have already seen a drop in his approval rating among younger voters, particularly, again, among younger Democrats, young voters already being pretty strongly on the left. This is already a group that he was struggling to have enthusiasm with. And in states like Michigan, where there's a large Arab American vote, a lot of Muslim American leaders are warning that there is a move against the president that could be damaging for his hopes of reelection. I think we'll also see this play out in congressional primaries. The members of the so-called squad, the far left faction in the Democratic Party in Congress, that was where you saw the votes against or not for last week's congressional resolution condemning the Hamas attack. And so representatives like Rashida Tlaib, who is Palestinian American and who is from Michigan and who has been strongly critical of President Biden, she has been criticized by many of her fellow members of Congress and will likely draw a primary challenge. Other members of the squad, such as Cori Bush from Missouri, also have primary challengers who are looking to make this issue one of their top critiques of these far-left members who have questioned America's historic support for the Israeli government.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.